Hello friends, welcome back to my channel Mukesh English, and this is your favorite YouTuber Mukesh Soni. Friends, in this video I'm going to summarize a very interesting story titled The Weed, written by the famous Indian writer who writes in Punjabi and Hindi, and her name is Amrita Pritam. So let's begin the story with an introduction. The Weed is a story about Anguri, a young village girl who becomes the second wife of an old servant named Prabhati. The story explores Anguri's life in a traditional village where women face many restrictions. It reveals her innocence, dreams, and the harsh realities of life and social customs. The story also touches on a local belief about a mysterious weed that makes women fall in love uncontrollably, showing how superstition affects their lives. Through Anguri's experiences, the story highlights the challenges faced by women in a conservative society. So that's an introduction about the story. The weed. Weed is like a plant, right? If they consume something, they fall in love. That's a symbolic one. To begin with, the story begins. The story is told by a woman who lives near Anguri's home, and she watches her life very closely. So who's the narrator? The narrator is a woman who knows Anguri very, very well, and she lives nearby Anguri's house, and she has seen Anguri for a long time. Who is Anguri? Anguri is a young girl who recently became the second wife of an old man named Prabhati. So Anguri has become the second wife of an old man and this old man's name is here Prabhati. Who is Prabhati? Prabhati works as a servant for the neighbor's neighbor. Prabhati had been married two times, but he was not a new husband, but Anguri was a new wife, a new bride for Prabhati. Okay. So Anguri's marriage was arranged in a very traditional manner. When Prabhati's first wife died, Anguri's father came and took over his wet towel, which had become wet with tears after the cremation. This was a symbolic way of saying, he said to Prabhati, now take my daughter as your wife. You don't need to cry anymore, right? So Anguri's father gave her to Prabhati, and that's how she became Prabhati's wife. However, they could not live together for 5 years because Anguri was very young. So, also because her mother was paralyzed and she had to look after her mother. So, for the first 5 years, Anguri and Prabhati could not live together. When the time came for Anguri to go live with her husband, the employer of Prabhati was worried. Prabhati's employer, Malik, they were worried because he did not want to feed another person in his house because Prabhati was a servant. So his employer thought that if Prabhati's wife also come here again, they have to offer food to her. But when Prabhati said that Anguri would live separately and keep her own house, the employer agreed. In the beginning, Anguri covered her face completely with a veil means ghungat, hiding her face from everyone, sorry. But slowly she became more comfortable. She was beautiful and lively. The sound of her ankle bells was like music. Okay. She was proud of her silver jewelry and she could name every piece she wore, like the anklet she used to call pachela, the finger ring bichwa, and the forehead band ali band. She dreamed of getting more jewelry like a necklace and a nose pin, which her mother-in-law had kept. Anguri spent a lot of time sitting by an old well under some neem trees near the narrator's house. Who is narrator? That lady, that woman. The narrator liked reading books, and one day Anguri asked the books. The narrator also used to read the books, and Anguri said that I also want some books. When asked if she wanted to learn reading writing, the narrator asked Anguri, do you want to learn reading writing? Anguri said, no, 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 because in a village, reading is considered a sin for women, while men are allowed. This showed how tradition had controlled her life. So Anguri said that no, no, I don't want to read and write because in my village reading writing means like a पाप. हमारे गांव में ऐसा करना एक पाप है. जबकि on the other hand, men are allowed. So this has shown here how tradition had controlled Anguri's life. The narrator observed that Anguri's body was strong and beautiful, like perfectly made dough that is soft yet firm. But her husband Prabhati was an old, plain man who seemed unable to truly understand or connect with her. Means to say, she was too young and her husband was too old. Anguri was like fresh dough covered by an old crust. Prabhati was protecting her, but not really participating in her life fully. So there was not a particular husband wife relationship in the real manner, she would like to say here. One day, Anguri told the narrator about a strange weed. So one day, Anguri told the narrator about a strange weed. Weed means a wild plant that men use secretly to control women's hearts. If a girl eats this weed unknowingly, usually it could be mixed in a sweets or the bitter leaves, she falls madly in love with the man who gave it to her. So this is a secret Anguri had told about a wild plant. If this wild plant is given to any young girl mixed with some sweet or the bitter, so unknowingly the girl will fall in love with the man whoever has given to her. Anguri said she had a friend who ate this wheat and ran away with a man to the city. The friend went mad, sang songs at night, and talked to her. People believed the weed was the cause, right? So, this story showed how the village saw love as something dangerous and unnatural, especially for women. Girls were expected to obey their families, love affairs were called sins. Men were blamed for forcing women into love using so called weed, right? After some days, the narrator noticed Anguri has changed. The narrator has seen a great change in Anguri's behavior. Now, Anguri no longer is wearing the jewelry. She remains silent, lost in thought. One afternoon, Anguri surprised the narrator by asking to learn how to write her name. So one afternoon, Anguri asked the narrator, "Could you please teach me how to write my name?" This was a big change because before she was thinking learning was something sinful act, but now there's a great change in Anguri's behavior, and Anguri would like to learn how to write. So when the narrator asked what was wrong, Anguri did not answer clearly. She was very sad, very distant. The narrator remembered about one young and one cheerful night watchman whose name was Ram Tara, who used to drink tea at Anguri's house along with her husband Prabhati. See here the change. Now the narrator is remembering, okay, there was a boy who was a watchman and his name was Ram Tara, and this boy used to drink tea with her husband Prabhati at Anguri's house, and Anguri used to serve the tea. But recently, Ram Tara had gone away on leave. Since then, Anguri had not eaten properly and she had not have the tea. Now she feels lonely and unhappy because Ramtara is not here. This is what the narrator has realized. The story ends with Anguri. Anguri is crying. She's showing her pain, her heartbreak. She was caught between her feelings and the harsh realities of her life. Feelings means her love feelings towards Ramtara, and what's her harsh realities? She's already married. Her simple, innocent heart had awakened to love, but she was trapped by the rules and the limits of a village and the marriage. Okay, so this is how the story ends here. Let's again give the incidents, what happens in the story in a sequence. Anguri marries an old man, Prabhati. After a long delay, she's innocent, proud of her jewelry. She believes women should not learn to read or write. She tells about a magical weed that controls love. She falls in love with Ramtara, the watchman, naturally. She wants to learn to write her name. She becomes sad and weak after Ramtara leaves. She cries, revealing her true feelings and pain. So, hence, I'm sorry. So, let's sum up the story here, saying that this story, the weed, shows how women's lives and feelings are controlled by tradition and superstition. It explains how love and desire are misunderstood or denied in some rural societies. It highlights the innocence of women who are not allowed to express their emotions freely. It shows how a girl's heart can awaken to love despite the restrictions around her. So, friends, this is how I have tried my best to summarize the famous story by Amrita Pritam, The Wheat, which is in the syllabus of second semester BCA General English under Bangalore City University BCU. Hope you have liked the video. Click on the like button, write in the comment box, subscribe the channel for more videos. Have a look in the description box, the playlist. You'll get all the videos links. So thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned with Mukesh English.